Hello.
Happy Sunday, one and all.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. I've been sleeping the whole day.
So have I. I've done literally nothing all day.
It's been a very busy week here in the shop. We have done a lot of things.
Yesterday was a big day.
Yes.
What did we do? What did I do?
Well, we did our first big winery visit here in Madrid.
Post-pandemic winery visit.
Well, no, it was not post-pandemic.
During pandemic winery visit.
We cannot be more during.
Yeah, it worked really well. So at 10 in the morning, hi everyone, hello. At 10 in the morning, I was here at the shop waiting for my faithful alcoholics. And we took a personalized, fancy minibus to a winery in Madrid called Cuartolote. And we did this wonderful visit, all socially distanced, everyone with masks, very professional, very safe. And then we had a nice aperitif with our wine tasting. We were very lucky that the people were bringing in the grapes. We saw that being unloaded. But this fancy lunch in another town, everyone left completely drunk and in the bus on the way home. It was great, but not this wine, very different wine.
Yeah, what are we going to drink today?
One of our favorite new wines, which is called Parajes.
Well, before we start, we should, first of all, please subscribe. Please give us a like.
Turn on that notification bell.
Yes.
I hate saying those things.
Yeah, but it's necessary.
It is.
We need your support, and we need you to subscribe.
Because we want to become rich off YouTube.
Like.
We need their money. We need 400,000 followers before the end of this year.
We should open our own Patreon.
We should have a Patreon.
Yeah.
But I can't be bothered to make content for Patreon. I mean, yes.
Also, this is the last. No, it's not. It's not the last. The last one is next Wednesday. It's going to be the last bottle of September's box. Mm-hmm. And October's box is already available. We are already shipping it. And so, yeah, don't be lazy and order your bottle and your box.
Your 6 bottles.
So 6
order
bottles.
The box.
Exactly. And it's going to be an amazing October box.
It's going to be amazing.
There's plenty of excellent wine.
Too much good wine. I don't know if they deserve it. And also, as we always say, I mean, of course, if you're looking at this in the future, like way in 2025, maybe it doesn't apply. But at the moment, we are still, remember, doing our sorteo, our little selection. Yeah. So if you're watching this live right now, please take photos of your tasting that you're doing at the moment. Do a hashtag.
It's important that the bottle must be seen in the picture.
So like something like that.
Well, your face is not needed.
No.
We only want to see your bottle.
And then we mean the bottle. That's not a euphemism. And then we will, at the end of the month, we'll do a lottery. We'll take the more photos, so the more tastings you document, the more chance you have to have your name taken out, and you'll win a very fancy bottle.
That will be at when we make the connection for the first bottle of the October box. Mm-hmm. We choose.
We'll do the big. Oh my God, he won!
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not necessary. You have to do it tonight. The picture you can upload it within the month.
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning.
Yeah,
tomorrow morning. Fine. But within the month, it's enough.
That's fine. Yeah. Anything else?
Okay.
Right. What are we drinking? For goodness' sake!
Wow. Let's talk about this.
Parajes.
Yes. Look, Darako.
Parajes.
What do we have here?
This is a Mencia, which is probably my favorite grape. So basically, so there's a little story behind this. You can see on the label that we've put there the name Cesar Marquez. Now, we love wines from the north. We also love the grape Mencia.
Yeah.
So during the quarantine period, I mean, fortunately, it was really hot. So a lot of people were drinking these lighter reds. Now, we'll talk about Mencia later. We were approached by one of our distributors who brought this wine, as well as another couple of wines. Now, one of the wines was a wine by a guy called Raúl Pérez.
Raúl Pérez.
And they brought us the wine Ultreya. Now, Ultreya is fairly well known now. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, Raúl Pérez is a big mover and shaker in this part of the world. Now, on the front of that, you can see it says César Márquez. His real full name is actually César Márquez Pérez. So if you live in Madrid or if you're a wino, you will probably know the name Raúl Pérez, but this guy is the nephew. So we were already like, ooh, part of the family, very, very nice. And then we tried his wine. Now, Raúl's wines are amazing, but we know them. And then suddenly this wine appears and we both kind of lose our mind a little bit. So yeah, bring it back to me for goodness sake. It's too much of that one photo. So this is Cesar's little baby. Now he's got a few wines. We'll talk about it later. But it is a Mencia mostly. There are some other things in there. But we both kind of were like, oh, this is really, really good. And it's really, really good for summer as well, because it's a bit lighter. So,
first of all, cheers.
Cheers, for goodness sake.
Cheers, everybody out there.
If you're not drinking this, get a Mencia and shut up. That's really good. Now,
It's good wine.
should we do our little cata?
Yeah. So, check out your text sheet.
Homework time.
And let's start. Well, wine. Parajes.
Parajes.
Okay. Because there are a lot of wines, including the word parajes. For us, it's much easier to locate this wine as César Márquez Parajes. But anyway, it's the name of the wine is Parajes. Which year are we drinking?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Grapes. Mostly
Mencia.
Mencia, but it has a little bit of Alicante Busquet, which has the name.
Garnacha tintorera. The inky Grenache.
That's how I am not.
That's how you're known in certain neighborhoods.
In Madrid.
Here comes old
The night
inky
of
Grenache, yeah.
Yeah. What happens with the Garnacha tintorera? What is it?
So,
with the specific
most grapes,
characteristic?
if you get a normal grape and you cut it in half, whether it's a red grape or a white grape, inside the center and the liquid and the flesh will be clear, it'll be white, colorless. There are certain grapes, they call them teinturier grapes, teinturier, tinted grapes, which inside the actual grape, it's also pinky purple. Garnacha tintorera is one of these such grapes, which gives you a bit more pigmentation, a bit more oomph. This has only got like 7% in it, I think. And there's also a few other grapes.
Just that little touch.
There's also a bit, apparently there's some white in there as well. Like bits of Godea or something, I don't know. Yeah. But it's basically a Mencia wine.
Well, hello, Mr. Darakert, Eva, Nina, Harry.
Hello.
Oh, Luke and I, we had the fortune to go to a Bierzo event weeks before.
It was 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before the
it's probably where it started.
And we had the chance to try 300,000 Mencias that day.
And 3,001.
Yeah, and I got my personal opinion about the wines of the Mencia and the wines of this region. I don't know if you would share it with me, but Mencia is a very easy drink.
Yeah.
Drinking wine, but it's not that easy to find good ones. There is a lot of Mencia. But to find a good Mencia like this is not that simple. Do you remember when we were trying one booth after booth after booth?
Yes.
And we were like, okay,
Yes.
where are the good ones?
Yeah, I think...
There are super good ones. I mean, Losada is making excellent wines. We discovered these other ones. I don't remember the name. But there are like 4 or 5 big classics, and there's a lot of...
I think a lot of it is still quite village wine, and a lot of it is young as well. Oh, sorry.
Concept. Village wine? What is that?
As in, like, I don't mean as a real village wine. I mean, like, a bunch of Pueblo farming. It's quite a remote area. The one with what we haven't said. The producer, which is Cesar from Bierzo, this particular one. This is kind of northwest, almost Galicia, and it's kind of very rustic and old-fashioned. Yeah. So a lot of the wines are nice, but not very high quality production, we could say. Whereas these guys, the Perez family and others, are sort of making them higher quality, we could say. Yeah. For example. Yeah. So yeah. Now, also percentage alcohol.
In this case,
13 and a half. 13 and a half.
13 and a half. This happens. These things do happen.
Not high alcohol ones.
Not high alcohol with Mencia. So, for that reason, it's also known sometimes, like
a Pinot Noir of Spain.
Yeah, something like that.
It's almost like if Pinot Noir and Syrah had a baby.
Yeah.
But it's kind of lighter and not.
Producer.
César Márquez.
This guy.
Look at him. Wrong.
we love.
No, wrong.
We love to put faces to the winemakers. Yeah. Sometimes you get surprises.
He looks a lot cooler than most winemakers.
Yeah. Well, he's young, right?
I think he's in his like mid-20s. I think. Yeah. But he's Spanish, so he might be like 35, but he looks really young. But I think he's my age, maybe, or younger than me, which is really embarrassing. Because he looks like $1 million, and he's got a winery which makes this, and I'm like, well, I'm fatter this week, and it's kind of he's one of these younger faces. His uncle Raúl, who I think is in his 40s, it looks like a big Jedi. But the family is like legit. But he's young. This is his younger project, we could say.
Well, region Bierzo, as we said before.
Roque, more on that later.
Yes. Well, let's go to the tasting. Visual. Oh, it's
beautiful.
There is. I mean, it's so inky.
Yeah. So Mencia tends to be quite a darkly pigmented grape.
And if you add as well garnacha tintorera, you get the perfect storm.
But it's very intense, and it's beautiful, clear, fine red color. You can't really see it. We always do this. You never see anything. But it's like a beautiful purple with a touch of red. But they tend to be some of the prettier reds, we could say.
Clarity?
No crap in the bottle.
Yeah. It's clean, super. When you see a wine clean as this, that means it has been filtered.
Yeah, but gently. So, I mean, really, only like crazy, funky, natural wines are going to come full of crap. Most wineries will do a gentle filter. Almost imagine like you're straining the wine through like some bedcloths or something. There's a gentle filtration. The high producers will like filter it to get any possible bit of sediment out. But to be honest, most wine it's going to be fairly clean by the time it gets to the bottle, unless it's some funky zero filtration natural wine where they only make about 5 bottles. But yeah, I don't know the details of the filtration. I didn't ask, but I think it's gently filtered.
Let's move to the aromas. What do you get here?
I love it. So this has had 12 months in a barrel.
Oh, it's
and you
beautiful.
Get lovely, warm, spicy, toasty notes. Yeah. But you get also the classic of the great Mencia, these classic floral, violets, sort of mineral, stone, that kind of stuff. If anyone here can smell anything, please let us know. I bet no. Only Harry is drinking, I think, tonight.
What do you get?
It's quite sort of cherries and plums for me as well. But this is the thing that really stood out about Cesar's wine when we tried it, was the smell, almost more than anything. It was just like, that is... Because Mencia doesn't... Still recovering. Black pepper, baby. Yes, Ben. It is quite pepper, isn't it? Or recovering. Still reconvening. Okay, reconvening. Mencia is... Lavender, yeah. It's got like lavender floral.
Yeah.
I think Mencia, the thing about Mencia is it doesn't usually like to be in oak barrels that much because it's quite an oxidative grape. This beautiful little, there they are. Look at those beautiful little grapes. It doesn't like too much oak. Same with Pinot Noir. It's quite a delicate grape, so you have to kind of treat it nicely, and you have to be quite a good winemaker to use the grape with oak to give an expression of the grape that doesn't smell too oaky. And this one, there's little toasty notes.
What we are watching right now is a real bunch of Mencia grapes, and what is more remarkable is the size of the grape is really small.
Yeah.
And the bunch of grapes tend to be very small. It's a mini grape if you compare it with a Tempranillo or a
Monastrell.
Yeah.
But as we know, it's not all about size. It is worth mentioning one thing about Cesar, as well as Raúl and some of the other producers, is that this is also, the wine itself has been fermented with what they call raspon. Raspon. You have to... Raspon is the physical twig, the solid part. You have the grape, and it sticks onto the bit of the vine, the bunch, and
the woody part.
The woody, that's better. The twig, the bit, the woody part. Thank you, Rocket. And so what you'll usually do, if you just want fruit, is you take that out. He ferments 50% of the raspons, I think, in almost all of the wines, because he's got a few wines. And what that does is it adds slightly greener notes. It can add sort of peppery notes. It can also add balsamic notes as well. So if you can smell it, you can smell like woodiness, but not necessarily the wood of a barrel, but almost actual physical wood, because 50% of all the wine has been fermented with this woody bit, basically. Yep. And that's called fermentación con raspón, basically. Yeah.
Well, aromatic complexity. No, sorry. Quality of aroma quality.
Smells great.
Yeah, it smells great.
I think it's fairly complex. It's 12 months. It's 3 years old, 2017. You have 12 months in. It's delicate with the oak. It is very complex because a lot of the Bierzo wines, the Mencias we try, are
There's
very
also
simple.
some creamy aromas.
Yeah. It's a yogurty.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's the vanilla. I don't know. How's the mouthfeel for you, Rocky?
Oh. It's full. It's powerful.
Grippy. They call it grippy tannins.
But at the same time, it's light. There is it's light but tasty.
It's light but tasty. I think that's Mencia. It's quite punchy, but it is also quite delicate. Like I say, it is kind of like Pinot Noir and Syrah had a baby. You've got good tannins, good structure, but it leaves you kind of fresh. I think that is why these kind of wines dominate in summer when it's 4,000 degrees centigrade in Madrid, and these are kind of a fresher style, basically. Balance. 5 stars. Well, maybe 4 stars. No, I'm just
when you mean balance, what are you looking for in a way?
You're looking for nothing.
You mean balance when there is no any characteristic that.
Mm-hmm. So if you ever do this and go, nice wine, ooh, alcoholic though, that's not balanced. It's maybe very nice, but maybe it's a bit unbalanced. This is pretty well balanced. Some Bierzos tend to be a bit reductive. They're a bit funky when you first open them. Is that about balance? Who knows? That's also the grape variety.
And the finish?
It's quite short.
Yeah,
not super long.
Not super long.
It's quite fresh.
Do we look for longer finish?
There's a big school of thought about this, but there is a general consensus that the longer the finish, or the better the wine, maybe the longer the finish.
No.
But who knows? If you like it, you like it.
Pairing. Oh.
So many things.
Pure cheese.
Yeah.
Embutidos.
Yeah.
Stews.
Yeah. Meat.
I mean,
red fish.
Imagine
tuna.
you are traveling to Leon. Imagine you are entering a bar, in a tapas bar. Okay. Anything you will find as a tapa, it will work with this wine. Morcilla de Leon.
Yeah, roasted peppers.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Mencia is a really food-friendly wine. The acidity, the structure, the body or lack of too much body, all kinds of stuff basically.
Temperature 16, 17.
Kind of normal stuff. Yeah.
The price, how much is this wine?
$14.90.
14 something, yeah. 14
Not
something.
if you bought the box.
But yeah.
Buy the box.
Yes.
And the glass.
The first one,
Big
of
glass.
course.
Yeah, big glass.
Yeah. But you know, we have.
What do we have, Rocky?
We have someone who can explain this better.
We do indeed.
Here we go.
That's the wrong. Is it? Can you hear him?
Espero que estéis bien. Mi nombre es César Márquez y soy un viticultor del Bierzo que comencé un proyecto personal en el año 2015. Mi proyecto se basa en un sistema borgoñón, intentando clasificar el Bierzo desde un vino de región, que es el que vais a probar hoy, Parajes, a un Village, que es un vino de pueblo de aquí de Valtuille, a luego 3 vinos de parcela y un blanco de Godello Viejo. En esta ocasión vengo a presentaros Parajes 2017. Es un vino de región, como os decía, en el que existe una mezcla de unas 28 parcelas diferentes dentro de todo el Bierzo. Parcelas que me gustan mucho a caprichos, en 9 pueblos diferentes que van desde los 510 metros hasta los 780-790 metros. Todas las parcelas son elaboradas por separado. Según la parcela utilizo una parte de raspón mayor o menor, desde el 15% al 100%, y las maceraciones suelen ir en torno a 15 a 60 días. Después cada parcela entra por separado a barrica durante un año, en barricas de 500 y 225, intentando buscar el carácter del terruño, intentando que la madera no esté muy presente en el vino, buscando más bien la identidad de un lugar. Y luego después estas parcelas de pasar separadamente un año en barrica se mezclan y bueno, se embotella el vino regional. En esta añada fueron 2017 unas 12.000 botellas, creo que fueron. Y bueno, pues fue la tercera añada del proyecto, fue un año un poquito cálido en el Bierzo, la vendimia vino un mes antes de lo normal, pero bueno, intentamos representarlo lo mejor posible, intentando coger la identidad de cada lugar, intentando representar cada parcela y bueno, este es el resultado. Espero que lo disfrutéis y muchas gracias por elegirme. Un saludo.
Wow.
What a lovely chap.
Yeah.
And how pretty.
Thank you very much, Cesar, for your video and your support.
And that background, it's so beautiful and green.
We are so glad to have your wine in our taste.
In our mouths. Give us a quick word about Bierzo. Where are we?
Bierzo. So when we talk about Bierzo, we talk about León. So it's 23 municipalities and occupies several valleys and in these mountains. Mountainous areas?
Yeah, it's kind of just all hills.
It's not plain and flat as the rest of Castilla. No, it's quite mountainy. It has higher temperatures than the plateau, but more rainfall. So that's why it probably gives this more characteristic.
In my amazing award-winning book about the Camino de Santiago, I said that Bierzo was the Garden of Eden of Spain. It's just
really?
All the best food.
That is pretentious.
Yes. It is indeed. I'm sorry.
You're right, it is very pretentious.
I know.
As you are.
It's like, but it is beautiful. It's like a perfect climate. It's like all the food and veg, you know.
Well, what you know about the weather here, it has a lot of Galician influence. So it's much more rainy than Castilla. And
it's like a stepping stone to Galicia, isn't it?
The altitude is not that high. Between 450 meters, which we have wine in 400 meters. It can go up to 1,000, like in the plateau. But from 400 we already have wine.
Yeah.
Varieties. Godello is the star
It's
for the
whites,
and Mencia is for the reds. It's not one of those regions with a super long list of allowed grapes for making wine. So, well, you can have also Palomino, Malvasias, Garnacha, like this one, for example. But it's not small. 6 million liters of wine.
Yeah, it's quite a productive little area.
But it's mostly Spanish. 77% remains here.
I don't think you can find them very easily in Sainsbury's and Maidenhead. But also, it is one of those regions.
Who knows?
Maybe in the future. But basically, if you say Bierzo for red wines, it's like equals Mencia.
But yeah, there is there is something that if you haven't tried the whites of Bierzo, you should. The whites tend to be, you know, pale yellow, light, fresh, fruity,
but quite a nice unctuosity to them as well.
Exactly. At the same time, is you know,
characterful.
It has personality.
Just like the people.
But always with this Godello. It has rosés that I don't remember if we tried rosés.
No, we haven't. There is a company who makes our Guerra vermouth.
Oh yeah.
And they've got quite a popular rosé, which we should try.
We have 2 vermouths from León, and they are extremely strong.
They're so good. Not alcohol, just like aroma, flavour.
Exactly.
Smoky, toasty, clovey.
Yes.
It's like Christmas punching you in the face.
Plastic.
Plastic.
Plastic wheels.
Well, Roque's broken. Plastic wheels.
And it's a land with a super long tradition.
We've got Romans,
mainly Middle Ages. But,
drunk pilgrims like
the
me.
tradition of wine in León is super long.
And a bit like a lot of the regions up in the northwest, it's very indicative. So it's very like how would you put it? An intense personality, we could say.
And it's a beautiful area.
Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, look at it, beautiful.
Yeah.
So there's all the hills. It's where Spain starts to get green all year round. So on the map here, you can see where it is in the northwest, just on the border with Galicia, and that is the portal into green Spain.
It's very similar to the León wine we had the other day, the Carro León.
Yeah.
Well, we are in the same, more or
Same
less the
kind
same
of area.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's also you said you went there when you did the Camino de
So
Santiago.
I've been there a few times, to León, Ponferrada, all these kind of places in El Bierzo. But with the Camino, you walk through Bierzo for a couple of days, and it's just so beautiful. These undulating mountains, vineyards, farmers, beautiful towns. If you haven't been to Bierzo, which maybe you haven't, if you want some... Ponferrada is not the prettiest place. It's not ugly. It's got a cool Templar castle.
It's like the most important,
It's the
right?
most
It's
important.
like the capital.
Yes, if you go to Ponferrada, and you can go to Astorga, and you can go to my favourite town in Spain, Villafranca del Bierzo.
Yeah.
Beautiful, surrounded by vineyards and mountains. It's like, this is amazing.
There is a dish in their gastronomy that is quite characteristic. It's like
Botillo.
Botillo.
Yeah.
It's like a bag.
It's like, for those of you in Britain, it might be the most similar to a haggis. But it's...
What?
So, you know the haggis in Scotland?
No.
Okay, so it's like a stomach of a pig or something, and they fill it with stuff, and you bake
Is
it.
that what they do
In Scotland?
In Botillo.
I think that's the botillo as well.
It's also the stomach of
a stomach bag full of crap.
A pig,
Of
right?
some local man. And then I think they boil it or something. It's horrible. It sounds horrible. I mean,
And it's filled with
stuff.
sausage and morcilla and
local people again. It's
Meat.
all the bits of
like bones as well. Is
I think there's like just any old
so
crap.
they boil that and then they
Serve
eat
it with potatoes.
and also with repollo, it's
With cabbage as well, yeah.
with cabbage, right?
I think Bierzo cuisine is like hearty,
Well,
but that's why the wine
It happens always when in the most cold weathers, cold weather regions that
I'm
they
gonna try
tend to
and
have.
make sure this is still okay.
Is it good, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's good for a Sunday evening.
So, Luke Darracut, more themes. What do we have here?
So I wanted to mention, or I already mentioned my book. That's a shame. Mencia, by the way, is planted in other places of Spain. Bierzo is the spiritual home, but just over the border in Valdeorras, you'll find Mencia. It's a pretty old variety. It is a Spanish variety. It's a northwestern variety. They have it in Portugal as well. They call it Jaén or Jaén. So you might find it in other places, Valdeorras, Ribeira. You'll find it in other Galician ones. In Asturias, you can find Mencia. But really, the spiritual home of where it really kicked off was in Bierzo.
Yeah, because what we have here, Valdeorras, Monterrey, Ribera Sacra,
All making
All of
with,
them.
yeah. And Bierzo tends to be the slightly heartier ones because of the warmer climate, basically.
But it's quite unfair that they can use Alicante Busquet in their wines, but the guys from Alicante cannot use.
That'd be
Mencia.
so funny, a Valencian Mencia. But yeah, so obviously we hope you guys like it. If you like it, please mention. Ben says, really nice complexity and yet goes down really fast, dangerously Moorish. Yeah, that is kind of this grape.
Unfortunately, it's not very alcoholic.
No, unfortunately. Although I've seen them at 14%. That's about the strongest I've seen.
Questions?
Maybe that's just me.
Do we have questions?
Anyone got any questions?
Do you want to explain what is happening, Luke Tarakat?
So, I may or may not have forgotten my cable for my laptop. So it's possible in any second this might die. Usually we take about 40 minutes on these things. Maximum 40. We've been here half an hour. But if it dies suddenly, that's because I don't have my cable. So yeah.
So, if you don't see anything on your screen,
That's why.
it's because
It's because
the laptop died.
the laptop died. But to be honest, they've had all the information. They can just drink now. It doesn't matter. But yes, it is worth pointing out that we do have other Mencias available in the shop. But this probably is one of our new favourite discoveries, we could say that way. So if you do like this, if you are drinking this, please do check out the rest of Cesar's wines, especially also his Gordeos.
Yes, he has a large collection of bottles. Let me check because here it goes. Parajes is the start of his collection of wines.
Yeah, if it's this good at the beginning, imagine how good it gets.
Yeah, I've tried. I think it's this El Llano, and it was amazing. So I cannot imagine how it must be the top one.
That's amazing. I mean, like I say, if it's the starting point, it can only get